Hi again, Rod Fleming here. We're talking about art today, and photography is a really good way to explore your aesthetic core, that innate nub of aesthetic and understanding that we all have. I used to teach photography, and I still do when I can, you know, enjoy it. And I teach a method which I call Reflex and Reflection, right? So I'm just going to explain that for a moment. Reflex. Photography should be a reflex. And the same is true, by the way, painting, in music, in... It doesn't matter what art you are. You know, the actual making of a mark, the pressing of the shutter, the playing of the note, it should be reflexive. You shouldn't be going, oh, no, now I've got to do it. It should be just, that's it. That's the right time and the right note, the right picture, right? The decisive moment. It should be completely reflexive, you know? You just take it. Take the damn picture. Agonize over it, just do it. That's your moment of reflex. That's your reflex. And then when you look at your pictures, and your photographs in this case, we're talking about photography, look at your pictures and you reflect on them and you go, you should be going, which ones, you should ask yourself, which ones do I like best? And actually we all do this, you know, because you go through and you go, oh, that's shit, that's shit, that's shit. I'll keep that, okay, that's a nice one, keep that one. That's shit, that's shit. We all do that, you know, it's innate. We do this by some process that, as I say, I'm sure some evolutionary psychologist will come along and hopefully try and tell us exactly how this happens. It maybe has something to do with, you know, food selection or something like that in our distant ancestors. But anyway, we will select the best ones from a set of pictures that you've done. You know, just go out around your block or around your village or wherever you live and take some pictures. Then look at them. Decide which ones you like best. Take one. Choose one that you like best. Right? And then go, wonder if I can do better. Wonder if I could do better than that. Go out, right? And don't agonize about, oh, I'm going to do better. Just take another set of pictures. Bearing in mind, you've already done one and you're trying to do better. And stat me, if you don't know what, you'll come back and they'll be at least as good and probably better than that original one. Maybe not very much, but they'll be better. And if you do this for a while, and with photography it actually doesn't take very long. If you have a well-developed sense of aesthetic, and it's only a question of getting onto it and you're plugging into it, within a matter of a few months you'll start to produce really good pictures. I mean it, you will. And you'll do it completely reflexively, and you'll see people doing selfies. Selfies are a great art form, you know, it's really something that people should pay attention to. Because it becomes performance art. It's not just the picture, you'll see all the other, the models, they all just rearrange themselves into shapes and, you know, do this wee thing. This lovely piece of, I mean, I remember, oh gosh, that would be a couple of years ago. You know, I spent half my life in the Philippines, half my life here in France. And I was at, oh gosh, I was in Quezon. Eastwood I was, Eastwood City Walk, with the girl I was dating at the time. We'd just gone out for a meal and we're just sitting, you know, and there was some sort of concert going on. It's a big sort of plaza with a lot of restaurants and bars around. It's a really nice place, you know. Very, very safe and friendly, good place, and there's music going on, it was nice. And this bunch of girls came past, you know. 4, I think, Filipinas, you know, young Filipinas, I guess, around about 20. And one of them pulled out her phone, you know, and did this. And the other 3, like that, formed up in a shape behind her so that you would see the 4 faces like that. It was beautiful. It was just exquisite. And I burst out laughing. I thought that was so funny. Nobody taught them how to do that. Nobody said, now look, you want to take a decent selfie, that's just what you do, you know. And you spend 3 months doing a class and we'll teach you how to do it. Absolute bullshit. It's just nonsense. You just do it. People just do it because people know what's good, right? You don't need to tell them. You just need to give them the tools to find out for themselves. And the fact is, the mobile phone is a fucking brilliant way of doing this because it's so fast. You know, you can do it, and oh look, that's it there, that's it. I mean, that's an older one. I use, this is an old Canon G12, and I have a G1X also. I find these are fantastic travel cameras, by the way, because They're really strong. These bounce, and small, they don't look, you know, if I carry big SLRs and stuff like that, I'm a real obvious character in the landscape, you know. There are some limitations about using small cameras like this, but there are also great advantages. Anyway, going back to the business of reflex and reflection. So what happens is that as time goes by, you just get better at it. You look at them and go, oh, that's good. And, you know, women do it all the time, especially with selfies. Selfies very, very good, because women learn what's their good face. You know, what's their photo face? You look at your girlfriend and your pictures and you go, you know, I've got 263 pictures of you and it's all the same face. And yeah, that's my photo face. You know, because they learned it looks good. How did they learn it looks good? Did somebody tell them it looks good? No, they bloody know what it looks good, you know. Aesthetics is innate. You don't need to be taught. Art that does not appeal to your innate aesthetic is pish. You know, how fucking simple can it be? You know, it's that easy. It's really that easy. Anyway, that is how I recommend all people who are interested in learning photography do it. Don't even think about the equipment. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about a phone that's a little compact digital camera. But I also use 10x8s, you know, I've got a Deerdorf G8, I've got medium format film cameras, I've got all that sort of stuff, because I like using them, it's fun, you know, it's enjoyable. But do not get obsessed about equipment. Equipment doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The best camera for any given job is the one you've got with you, right? Don't think about going home to get a new camera. It's gone by the time you get back. Equipment is irrelevant. Perception is everything. And putting your eye in touch with your inner aesthetic centre is the way you do it. I remember listening to an interview with Susie Sue. I've kind of forgotten your real name, Susie. Sorry if you're watching this. Who I happen to think is a fantastic musician, great singer, and all-round beautiful lady. And Susie was really the founder of the punk music, the punk fashion style, you know, because the originators, the Sex Pistols, were kind of they were guys, you know. Probably didn't wash too often, you know. They weren't really fashion victims anyway, but Susie Sue definitely was, and she was the one who really defined that kind of punk fashion that became such a big thing in the late 70s through the 80s, and it's still around, you know. And that's not very many people could say that they had an entire fashion trend that lasted for, still lasts, you know. Gosh, it's 40 years ago. Terrible thought. Well, Susie, anyway, she was not a musician, she was a fan. She loved the Sex Pistols, she used to go to their concerts. Couldn't sing, couldn't fucking play, couldn't do anything. And so she decided that she was going to start her own band, you know. And she chose as musicians a bunch of other people who couldn't play a fucking thing either. And this actually was quite common in the late 1970s. This was, you know, what you did, you know, the punk bands. A lot of them, they couldn't play. And so, there you go. But it was very interesting because what happened, and if you listen to Susie Sue, her band was called the Banshees, if you listen to the work they were making even a matter of a few years later, it's so good, you know, they're so on the ball, such a tight band, you know, it's so like, yeah, bloody hell, that's good. Completely raw, completely, you know, you can't say, oh, yeah, I hear the blues and that, you know, it's not really part of a tradition. Because it's just Susie, and she said herself, the thing is, if you do something often enough, you can't help but get good at it. And that's really what I'm saying. If you reflex and reflection, you make life, make your art, make it a reflex. Do not be agonizing over it. Just do it. And then reflect later and say, you know, you see all your stuff and you go, I like that one. I do like that one. Don't try and analyze why you like it. Don't start with all this bollocks about golden means and, you know, the stuff that artists are trained to say. Just forget it because it's irrelevant. Just respond to it. Just go, I like it. And try and have that feeling the next time you take a picture. And you will get better. You will get better. And that's true of all art. You know, you can say exactly the same about painting, sculpture. My undergraduate degree, I majored in sculpture with filmmaking. That was what I did. And I can tell you, Sculpture is exactly the same. You just make your marks, you know, push around a little bit of clay, whack a little bit off. Is that better? You know, you do it, it's reflex, and then you reflect. And that's really all I'm saying here, is that nobody needs another person to teach them how to make. I mean, I might need to teach, you know, you don't know how to make prints, fair enough. Okay. In the old days, photography, you know, when it was film photography, you didn't know how to develop film. Well, I'm going to have to show you that, and make prints and enlarger stuff like that, which is great fun, you know. Yeah, I would have to show you how to do that, but the raw core essentials, the non-technical essentials, if you like, no. I mean, you know, if you want to, you can't just work out for yourself how to make a bronze. You know, you have to learn how to cast, learn, you know, you have to learn metallurgy and stuff like that. But the core concepts of creation is not like that. You know that already. This is really my point, is you know already. We all know already what great art is, and we are all capable of doing it. You just have to get in touch with it. And for that, you don't need anyone. And you certainly don't need any pontificating twat, you know, with, I don't know, in PhD, and how the hell can you have a PhD in art, for fuck's sake? You know, I'm for a juxtaposition of forms and light and shade and bada. It's absolute crap of the worst order. Good art is good art because you like it. That's simple. That's simple. Just keep that with you. And always try and do better. Just always try and do better. It's the same, you know, if you are a musician, I'm a musician, you know, and I love the blues. I've been playing blues for 50 years now. It's a real scary thought. And you know, there's things you play, and you play them again, you play a tune, you know, and you do a wee thing. Ah, yeah, I like that, you know, and you kind of advance on it, you make it better. Every time you play it, you're not thinking about making it better, but you actually do make it better. You make your little improvisation nicer and sweeter, you know, and you feel good about it. Photography the same, art the same, it's all the same. You know what good art is. You already know it. All you're trying to do is get in touch with it.